Just giving some time here to wait for some people to come. Vocês viram aí que posso escrever um pouco mais disciplinar. Fala, Thiago. Thiago, faço conteúdo no meu Instagram em português. Obrigado pela sugestão de vídeo. Eu vou explorar um pouco mais sobre esse assunto no outro Instagram. Esse aqui eu uso só para fazer conteúdos em inglês. Tudo bem? Mas aproveitando, eu vou falar que talvez algumas pessoas possam ter dúvidas sobre isso. Hello everyone. I see that it's already 2 people here watching the live. So you're back. Hope everyone survived this Oshlahu Imosh TRECENA. And for those who would like to see the graphics that I use to follow the analysis, you can go to my website mayadekeeper.me, and the link is in the description. So you can search for the next day if you are watching today, and you can see the graphics of the snake. So today we're going to be analyzing the Oshlahu Ishvalam 13 Jaguar TRECENA. And let's see if some of you are there. Edmond, hi Eduardo, happy to see you. Nice to see you too, Edmond. I hope you're good and hope you had like a good Oshlahu Imosh TRECENA that we are just finalizing right now. I miss your interaction energy stories. Yes, buddy. I have been very busy. I have been able to dedicate too much time on Instagram, but I will be back soon with posts. I kind of sorting out some things in here. I haven't been able to dedicate as much time as I wish I could to the Instagram, but I promise that very, very soon I will be back with the Instagram interaction, with the stories, replying all of your questions live over there, as well as with the posts that you all were enjoying so much. I have to resolve because all of everything that I used to post there is broke with my computer, so I'm just about to sort that out, but I promise that soon I will be back discussing that. Just to begin, because I received here a message from Tiago Kawuk. He wrote me in Portuguese and I will translate so everybody can, so maybe this could be like a question that some of you have. I would like to suggest a video to clarify a little bit about the structure of the Mayan cross inside of the cosmovision of the Quiche people. In other words, the function of the head, feet, and right and left. So this is a subject that we already spoke here in the channel, especially if you go to 2 lives ago in the Oshlahu Canil live where I was doing with my tata, Pabianteu. In our lineage, there is no such a thing as Mayan cross. Of course, there are lots of stuff that came with the colonization, and it talks that divides stuff talking about past, present, and future, or right hand and left hand. So this is not like the non-colonized Quiche Maya see about that. Whenever you see that structure that in my website, in the same calculator that you can use to see the graphics of the snake, to see the TRECENA, you can see something there, called chobor, which is you can see the graphics of a ball with a fire and a water on the bottom. So that is what we people tend to call the Mayan cross. But this is not a concept that was very native from the Quiche people. This is something that came like with the mix of the cultures. And but whenever we talk about that, we talk about as a corporation. So we have, for example, if you go to today to like as here is already home yek, you can see the graphics that in the chobor you can see that you're gonna be seeing like 8 nawals around yek. This is just like if you just take now yek and you break the molecule of the nawal, so you can understand the function. Well, but instead of talking about what is past and future, we talk more about what is in inception and conception. In Quiche is tikishik, inception, and tior laben, conception. And what you have in the middle, like is the kamal be, what gives sense to the nawal. It's how, for example, if you want to understand why now yek is now yek, why now yek represents now yek, that's the structure. Of course, there are so many types of uses that these structures, this structure can offer. Like so many that I cannot, I would take like maybe like 3 lives just to go in depth of everything that the chobor covers. But the chobor means a corporation, like a council of nawals. A council of nawals that you come together so you can dictate a direction to go, like you give you like a route. So basically, that's the basic explanation about the chobor. But it's like in my lineage, as I follow like a non-colonized lineage of the Maya calendar with Tata Pabianteo, the lineage from Nawalá, Guatemala, from the other teachers, Nania and Tatek. So we don't apply these concepts. Of course, like there are some modern Mayan people, especially those around the Lake Atitlan, where it's the more colonized version, like they have this adapted version of that's what they call the Mayan cross. But they have the type of use, but originally it's called Chobor, the council of the Nawals. Okay, and but soon whenever like I'm able to go back, I can talk more deeply about what is this concept of the Chobor, which is not a Mayan cross. So going back to the TRECENA analysis, now there is more people arriving, so welcome everyone. I was just beginning replying some questions in here. And hello, Maya, nice to see you here. Hope everything is great there in Hawaii and ready to start this beautiful TRECENA of Nawal Ish Falam, Oshlahu Ish Falam TRECENA. Again, like if you like to follow my graphics to follow along with me, the graphics of the TRECENA of this TRECENA, you can go to my website. The link is in the description. Also, or you can go to mayathekeeper.me. And oh, great! So this is the TRECENA where. Hello, Awakened Dream. Excited to be here. Nice to have you here. Thank you for tuning in into the live. If you have any questions, you can leave it all in here. And after I finish with the analysis, I will go back to all of them. You can keep chatting, and I will spend some time answering to your questions. So thank you all for joining me, for being here with me. It's always so nice. It's always better to do this analysis with other people. Yeah, I can touch into that after the analysis. I can explore a little bit of the about this lunar stuff that is not kind of related to the Turkey, but to the Cholik, that is the moon calendar, but is also connected to the Turkey. But I can talk a little bit about that, yeah, after the analysis. So we are just about to start the Oshlahu Ishvalam TRECENA, the 13 Jaguar TRECENA. If you are new to my channel and watching my analysis, and if you already have like a previous understanding of the Maya calendar, my lineage sees the TRECENA looking at the now that carries the 13. Because in Quiche, whenever we call the TRECENA, TRECENA is a Spanish word to talk about the 13-day cycle, 13 days. But in Quiche, we talk about Oshlahu Kirnen, is the cycle of the 13. So I have a video talking about that you, if you are interested to learn more about that, in my playlist here in my channel, there is a tab with the playlist. There is a playlist called Fundamentals. I think there are a couple, 2 or 3 videos over there. They are short, where I talk more in depth about that. So I highly recommend you to watch it if you want to. So recapitulating a little bit, in the previous 2 TRECENAs, we went through the 13 seed, the Oshlahu Kanil TRECENA, where we spoke about the great potential of something to germinate. And I remember in that 2 TRECENAs ago, I told you the key word for the next TRECENAs would be how we measure stuff, like how we put things into proportion, like how we dose stuff. Because the seed is only, like if we don't put the proper amount of water, the proper heat of the sun, and the proper soil, will not germinate. So it needs the proper condition for something to get out of the seed, for the seed to become a huge tree, for the tree to provide us the abundance of the things we plant for us to eat. So, but it depends, because if we don't dose well the amount of water, the amount of the heat of the sun, we can rot in the seed. The same way in this TRECENA that we are just finalizing right now, the Oshlahu Imosh, the 13 water TRECENA, if we don't know how to dose the amount of water we inject in the seeds, we can rot them. And in the Imosh, whenever we talk about Imosh, we talk about a lot of strength, but very little control. Because it's just, that's why Imosh is connected to the left hand, as a way to say, like when you do things with the opposite hand, whenever you need to carry like a very important stuff, but you don't have a lot of control. So it's very easy that things can go sideways. You can lose the control. Things can go into madness. You can destroy stuff. In the same way that Imosh also connects to the collective consciousness, where we all draw our inspirations from, or abstract ideas. Sometimes we can end up, just getting ideas from each other without even knowing. Sometimes we kind of get like an idea or listen to something in the social media that keeps lingering into us, and that kind of ended up just taking us out of the focus that we should be injecting our strength to. So that can cause confusion. So that's something that Imosh can carry. So we had the 13 seed TRECENA, then the 13 water TRECENA, and now we have the 13 Ishvalam. The Ishvalam represents the planet Earth, the Earth itself, the fertility of the Earth, that you gestate and materialize things. So that's where we can harvest the abundance. That's when we start just taking care of the seed 2 TRECENAs ago. So this is the TRECENA of this great gestation, like this great development. If we can give a theme for the TRECENA, we can call this TRECENA as the big development, the big the gestation. But whenever we talk about Ishvalam, there is always, especially in the non-colonized places in the highlands, they do not talk about the planet Earth as like the mother Earth, as a tender mother that is only pure love. but they talk about is an aggressive mother. In the same way that the mother gives us life, she swallows us at the end. The same way, that it like it gestate many types of forms of life. It also corrupts everything, so it's a mess. It's aggressive. So it's one of the two nawals that is associated with the aggressive feminine classification, because it has the properties of a feminine owl, which means that is terrestrial, something that is developing, something that is cold in the dark, something that is developing, like it circles, but it's aggressive as being dominant as a masculine owl. So that's why the earth is also associated as an aggressive mother. So a mother that provides you life, but also you take that back. So it has no mercy. It's cold, just like the jaguar. Just like if you are up from a place where the jaguar is the main predator of your environment, you may understand like this characteristic and this association of the planet Earth with the jaguar. The jaguar has the function of taking care of the environment, not letting like the population of deers or that just outgrow, like just become overpopulated. But in the same way, it doesn't it cannot allow just to go away. Otherwise, they won't have anything. It needs to keep the balance of everything. So that's why the jaguar is the protector of the earth. So that's one of the key elements for us to understand this now Ishvalam is this aggressivity. So this aggressive fertility. Now we can also talk about fertility as well, the same way as the Nawal Ishvalam, as the earth is fertile. If the earth is fertile, you can make things grow from there. The earth do its magic to make things come to life. So in this TRECENA, we're going to be talking about as like a mother that is constantly pregnant and giving birth to new things. But Ishvalam talks about more the material stuff, talk more about business. There is another nawal that is connected to the jaguar, which is the nawal akabal. But they both share this gestation, aspects. But Ishvalan is more like to the material, more business driven. It's not about to judge. Like the Mayakala, we cannot apply judgmental stuff, judgmental thoughts in here. It's all about understanding a condition. There are some people who are money driven, they are very ambitious, and that's okay. They are just carrying a spirit of the earth. We cannot apply moral stuff in here. It's just to understand the nature, what happens to the gestation period that drive them to act that way. It's not a bad thing. It's just a condition. It doesn't mean that a person that is only driven by money or just driven by ambition would be less spiritual or less evolved than any other person. Because in the Maya calendar, one of the principles is everything is spiritual. Everything, like you cannot detach the spiritual from the material. Everything is connected. So Ishvalam talks more about this exploration side of the jaguar, because the jaguar is a curious being, so likes to observe things from the distance and likes to go there and explore stuff. So we can associate like the jaguar as a salesman that goes from door to door, just like knocking, being aggressive and trying to sell you stuff. Maybe some stuff that you don't need, but still anyways, we'll try to do that. And Ishvalam we can also connect to whenever we do a savings, like whenever you are saving money, we open a savings account. That's an Ishvalam aspect, aspect whenever you gather resources so you can do something with it later. So you can also, for example, stock something, but then to later sell for the double of the price. So that's the nature of the Nawish Falam. It's like this to build stuff, to the material stuff, gestate stuff so you can create something that, like for example, the structures, the cities, everything in there, like the building. So this is also something related to Ishvalam. So it's an hour that talks about money and gambling as well. Ishvalam, like if you are into gambling, like Ishvalam loves that, loves playing with that. That's a great way to feed this novel. So it's an aggressive novel. It's a cold novel. It's that's why like it's a very an extremely dominant novel. And this Trecena is going to be talking about what we can develop of that, what we can develop whenever we do things in the right proportion with the seed and the amount of water, how we process with these previous two Trecenas. And so depending on how things went for all of us in the previous Trecenas, on if the Oshida Huimosh, the 13 water Trecena, was a Trecena where you could inject force, you were able to be focused about the stuff you're doing, you were able to dose everything like that you were committed to. So then we can start this Trecena with injecting life, insufflating life. We start with Hun Yek, one wind. So each volume talks about the planet Earth, and the wind is what spins, is inside of the atmosphere of the Earth, providing life to the beings. If Emosh is the injection of force, Yek is the insufflation of life. Whenever you give life, to the beings, you animate them, you give them a mood, so you put them into movement. So it's a push, that you drive things forward. But the wind doesn't have a proper direction to go. The wind, it fills us with life. It's the entity that we need to thank for being alive right now. Despite of any belief that I have and that you have, what keeps us alive in here is the wind. It's the wind that carries my voice through the speakers of your phone, your computer, to your eardrum, so you can understand. So it allows us to communicate. So it what makes things move in here is the provider of life. So we start this Trecena with this Hun Yek, one wind. Is the new life, is the new insufflation of life. So depending, but if the previous Trecena you weren't able to keep things in the dose, like you're kind of ended up in the madness, you ended up just ruining things, could be okay. Sometimes we can lose our minds, so it's all fine. There is always, while we are alive, there is always time for us to get back on track. So but that could be indicating that could be leading the geek as a condition of be throwing temper tantrums. Geek is a very explosive novel, so it's a novel just like a child that is happy, enthusiastic about stuff. The enthusiasm that's kind of the fuel for you to fall in love with life. That make all your ambitions, make all your wishes, you drive you forward. So it's a powerful emotion, like an explosive emotion that can take you everywhere. But if when things do not go against this child's will, it can explode easily and throw temper tantrums, and can lead into arguments and into into fights, and start a little bit of drama. So that's one of the stuff that now Yik can represent. But if things started well, or things like went according to the control, Yik can be, these new elements that will insufflate life, that will start pushing your stuff forward, so you can develop further your projects. Like you can find like new ways of building material stuff, or just growing like your personal projects or your business or whatever it is. And then from Hun Yek, we're gonna move to Kib Akabal, to clarity. Now 2 is the now of the retraction. If the now 1 is the spring, like it's the new step, but it's the new step of something that the Jaguar is already pushing forward. So it's giving the enthusiasm, but for you to explore something more, to build, to gestate. So the Jaguar is already, just showing its feet over there. So the now 2 is the moment in the Trecena where we take one step back. It's the water that enters into retraction, just like the low tide. So it's a moment of calculation of, or maybe to planify stuff. If you want to use the TRECENA as to manage tasks, then now 2 days are good days for you to plan the stuff that you gotta do, to do your calculations. What you gotta do is time managing, like project managing. So could be good days to do that, because it's a moment where you can look back of the previous TRECENAs, so you can see like what went wrong or what you could do better, so you can plan stuff better. In this one you can do better calculations of where you like to get, like is the retraction before we move forward. And now Acabal is another Jaguar, another nawal that we also in my lineage we associate with the Jaguar. But as I mentioned, if Ishvalam is the now that is the Jaguar that is more materialistic, it's more like looking for building something, is more aggressive order, like money wise, business wise. Akabao is more knowledge driven. When you talk Akabao in Quiche means darkness, but whenever we talk about the now Akabao, we are not talking about the night itself, or neither like nocturnal people. We're talking about the transition, the twilight. Also, that's why the best way to express or to translate the essence of the Nawal Kabal is clarity, because it represents the first rays of the sun that starts illuminating what is in the dark. So a cabal, whenever you have something like, for example, a subject that you liked, so you need to, maybe you like that a lot, but you don't know enough, so you need to go a cabal, like you need to enter into darkness of something that you like to clarify, to make a research, so you can clarify with more information what you need. So that's whenever we talk about clarity, that's one of the aspects that you can associate with Akabal. We also can talk about, as Akabal is also another aggressive family nawal. As I mentioned, there are only two nawals that enter into these classifications, Akabal and Ishvalam. But Akabal talks more about the act of ruling. For example, whenever if you got like an important information, so you can preserve that information to use onto your favor, so you can govern with that. So it's the act of ruling whenever you have like that important piece of information that you need to keep hiding in the dark. So a cabal is not just clarifying like what is in the dark, but is also just keeping some stuff in the dark, like in a strategic way. As this TRECENA, we are talking about like this aggressive development, you build stuff, business stuff. So you need to have a good control of the stuff you're going to be calculating. So what you're going to be gestating here. So what kind of stuff you would like to bring to the light as you are gestating. So as like a child that's going to be born. So maybe like you are working on a project, but that's like we cannot rush stuff. Sometimes you need to process or gestating for you to work there. It spends some time, sometimes even getting frustrated doing that, but everything has its own time, its own rhythm. So a cabal talks about that, keep gestating stuff. Maybe it's not the proper time to see the light of day, so maybe it's better just to keep that in the dark. Sometimes it's better for you to not tell like your ideas to the other people, because otherwise they can ruin your plans. So it's about also knowing, calculate exactly what you can put in the light and what you can keep in the dark. So that's the essence of now Akabal. So it's a good day for you to project like what you'd like to gestate in this TRECENA. But just be careful that, because Akabal tends to be very perfectionist, likes to get things beyond perfect. So we need to pay attention to this, and because otherwise you can become stagnant just trying to make a perfect plan, but like sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's just better just to develop stuff along the way. You don't need to do like to plan every single detail in there, but Akabal will try to make you to calculate that. And then moving from Cape Akabal to clarity, we're gonna move to Oshib Kat 3 burning into ashes. Now 3 is the moment after the retraction we're gonna move forward. It's the water that opens the path that needs to surpass an obstacle. We can associate that like as a waterfall or a delta of a river. Like the waterfall, because the water needs to split from the rocks to surpass an obstacle and find its way through. And the delta of the river is the river that finds a way, but kind of diverges into so many places. So that's the essence of the now 3, something that goes forward no matter what. Most of the time tries to go forward in a more pacific way, and 10%, it needs to go like in a rough way. And now cat is a now that we talk about, one of the nows that we talk about the fire, but it's the low fire, it's the fire that is already consumed all the fuel, maybe all the gas, all the wood over there. And so it's just, or maybe it's just sustaining, it's just keeping the heat over there. Also now cats can be related with the effort of carrying the net. It's not the net. The net is now a bat because it's the threads that comes together. But now cat is the effort of carrying the net. Like is the we always say is the sacrifice we do for the others. Is the energy that you take from yourself to dedicate for the others, to help a friend, to help your family, to help a community. So for example, now cut is whenever you harvest all of the food, and then you need to take back to the village, so you can go there and cook. Cooking is also a now cut stuff, like it's the low fire to heat, so you're going to be cooking for the benefits so the others can eat. So it's this effort in pro for the other. So but as you take from your energy, it can be something that can leave you exhausted. It can consume you, just like the fire that is already consumed all the fuel. Also is the now we can also talk about like the another reference to giving life to the other is pregnancy, as the mother takes from her life, like from her energy, to give life to the baby, to create the consciousness, to shape the consciousness of the baby as well. So 3 cuts is the now of opening the path for the efforts, opening the path to help the others, to sacrifice for the others, to could be helping like a person, but can be also a business, can be a project, but it's everything that you're gonna take from your energy for sustain something. So it's about opening the path to sustain. But be careful for not getting exhausted. It's opening the path for the tasks that you need to do that is already involved with the business of the Ishvalam to develop. So we cannot stop with the constant tasks that we need to do. And then from Oshib Kat, we're gonna move to Kahib. Kan for stellar serpent. Now 4 is the after the water that opens the path, is the for example after waterfall is the pool of water where the water apparently stops there temporarily, or just maybe just slowly growing like the volume before the overflow. So it's a moment there we can stabilize. And now Kan is the now of the intervention, is the fury of the sky, is the sound of thunder, like Kaan in Quiche, like announcing a change in nature, like from the dry season to wet season, or maybe announcing a rain that is coming up. So is the sky talking to the earth like in an angry way, in a furious way, in order to intervene. So if we are, depending on how we are dealing with the TRECENA, remember that everything is based on conditions. This is not an astrology, not something that is fixed. It's not like a horoscope. Depending on how you deal with every now, they are passing the baton for the other, so the other can continue on. So depending on we are dealing with the TRECENA, if we cannot manage properly like this energy with now cut, like let me go back a little bit more. Like if now Yek is the energy that moves us, then Akabal is going to be how we're going to plan stuff, and then we need to use the energy to move forward with Kat to deal with the tasks. If you don't do a proper management, So then you can get extenuated. So then you can like find ourselves like, be like our own enemy, as an outcome can represent. Like can be a poison. Like you maybe you can get sick. Maybe you can get like mental issues. So calm is the moment where you need to stop to intervene what's not going correctly, what is not working. So it's the moment that you need to say stop. Okay, maybe if you're just getting exhausted, you don't see your projects, go heading to the fruition. There is something wrong. There is so you need to stop and think and be wise. So use the wisdom of now come to intervene, to just to change the direction where things are going. So this is the moment of intervention, and it's the moment where you can just stop, temporarily stop to see where you need to intervene, or how you can do that, like in work smarter, not working harder, but work like in work wiser, for example, or how you can just like cut like the path, to in order to advance a little bit more. So that's the Kahib Kam. And then from Kahib Khan, 4 stellar serpents, we're gonna move to Hob Kame. Now 5 is it can be the strongest now of the TRECENA, of the numeral nawals. Like if the now 4 is the water that stops, the now 5 is the water that overflows. Whenever the water already, took the shape of the recipient, the water will overflow. So there's, as I always say, hop days, 5 days is where things can go sideways. Everything that happens with these nawals will have a repercussion on how what the 13 will accumulate. What the 13 Jaguar is already pushing things forward. So now 5 is the water that overflows, the water that you cannot stop. Just like when a dam breaks, there's nothing that you can do to stop that amount of water to go there and cause destruction. But remember, it's not about judging something or good or bad. It's all about a condition. And now Kame, we talk about the ancestors, the deceased ancestors, which their spirit flows, in the breezes of the wind. So think about that whenever we talk about the Nawal Kame. If Ishvalam is the planet Earth, now Yek is the atmosphere of the Earth. The spirit of the ancestors, they travel through the breezes of the wind. So we can see the overflow of the support of the ancestors that gives us strength. That can, if you are feeling weak, if you lost motivation in life, if we just feel like we're not having like someone just wishing us well or just pushing us forward, maybe you can have the ancestors. Maybe you can talk to the ancestors and get like that overflow of energy, that overflow of support. But sometimes it can be too much. Sometimes if you are overlooking or if you are neglecting the steps, then now can represent frustration, can represent suffering as well. So it's a very, very delicate now, but it can be like the now that also will push you forward, you support you to where you need to go. But remember, now 5 days, things are really hard to be controlled. It's too much force and very little control. A little bit just like Nawal Mosh, like some aspects of Nawal Mosh you can see here in the Nawal 5. Some repercussions of Nawal Mosh you can see as a way to explain Nawal 5 as well. And then from Hob Kame, we're gonna move to Wakib Ker, 6, Deer. Now 6 is the moment of pondering, is the moment of putting things into perspective. We can associate now 6 as the drive caves, like the ear of the earth, as a way to say, like you go to the cave to meditate, to see like what to do. So you put things into perspective, not about to take an action, but also to try to find that ultimate equilibrium. So you know what to do, how you can. It's the scale of the TRECENA, like where you're gonna be weighing stuff in there. before you proceed. You can see like if your actions are compensating like with the ideas the Ishvalam is providing you. Like Ishvalam can also talk like this fertility that the ideas can bring, but sometimes these ideas they can cancel one another. So it's like as the wind can grow and makes us enthusiastic about stuff, maybe like nothing survives only by enthusiasm. We need to build like the ground. That's why Shvalan is already pushing the TRECENA in order to build stuff, to build like a structure. And now okay, we talk about balance, but spiritual balance, spiritual strength. If Kame we talk about the support of the ancestors can provide, care is a spiritual strength that comes after as a consequence. It's also the now of the altar where we do the communication with the ancestors, with between the realms. So it's the place where we go to find stability or just to or balance ourselves spiritually. So it represents this vitality of the earth, like the wild life over there that gives the earth personality, that gives earth all of this spiritual power. But most of the time we can talk about the care as being like this ultimate balance. So here is where we need to balance and stuff. If the jaguar hunts a deer, so it needs to be very controlled. You cannot hunt all of the deers, otherwise it's gonna run out of food. But it cannot just get like the population of deers just grow, just to overgrow. So it needs to keep the environment in balance. That's why we see here the now 6 being like this weight of the TRECENA. We need to see like how is our to check our spiritual strength, to do stuff. Check our vitality in here, because maybe it could be a good day. Like if you don't feel that your head is in place, you don't know what to do. Maybe you're just too enthusiastic, but you cannot move like with your projects. You could go maybe for a walk in nature, just to unwind a little bit, just to chill, or just to get inspired, by this beauty or in this spiritual strength of the planet Earth. So it's about for you to get a spiritual balance so you can proceed. But what also can happen, for example, just like a deer, whenever it sees a prey, it gets like it freezes in front of the jaguar, so it cannot move. This is also a way that we can talk about 6 care as a measurement. Like sometimes we cannot be only fearless all the time, just like the jaguar. Sometimes fear is also what keeps us safe as well. So we need to find the right balance between like the authority or just trying to command stuff as now care, like this spiritual leader, but also fear is also what can puts us in balance as well. Remember, we are talking here about the planet Earth. It's not about like the 100% lovely mother. Of course, it's the mother they need to be thankful for. It provides us everything that we need. But what we need to analyze here in the TRECENA of Ishvalam, when talk about Ishvalam, is this aggressive side. So we need to be careful. We need to respect. We need also to fear that, because otherwise she can swallow us at any time. We can serve as food to feed the rest of the world. Remember, we humans, for the Mayas, we are not in the top of the consciousness or anything like that. We are just another type of species over there. The universe can survive pretty easy without us. So we are just in the top of the food chain. That's it. That's it. So that's why the care is also talking about this spiritual balance as well. But it's not going to be fear in a negative way, but it's also as a way to make us ponder, to see where was the limits, where what's to trace like or to draw the boundaries. And then from Wakib Keh, we're gonna move to Ukub Kanil 7 seed. Now 7 is the climax of the TRECENA, is the hot water, like we can associate that with the geyser or the lava of the volcano. where is the moment of the TRECENA where you see the hottest part. Maybe you already see like how hot the intensity of the TRECENA, like what is the biggest potential that this TRECENA can gives us, can provides us. As 7 in here is with Canil. Canil is now the fertility, is the potential of things to germinate, to generate abundance for us, but also needs the proper proportion, needs the proper amount, the proper care for something to come out of it. And so we're talking about also that it's going to be draining from the fertility of the planet Earth, from this 13 Jaguar. So the Jaguar is providing the fertility that will make this seed to germinate, depending on how we are dealing with this Jaguar in this TRECENA. So the same way that how we're going to be managing that. So remember in the past analysis, I always spoke about the Canil TRECENA, like depending on how we deal with things in the Canil TRECENA, we're going to be harvesting stuff here in this 7 Canil. So we're going to be, the earth is going to be providing according to how we manage to do stuff, or how we deal with the weather, whether it's our personal projects or business or whatever we are associating that with Canil, even with money, because the seeds were the currencies the most of the villages they use as to trade stuff. So that talks about like what we need to pay attention here is also the proportion here in this TRECENA, on how much you can handle, to harvest as well. And but I also can talk about if we don't do anything, if we neglect everything, depending on how we are dealing with all of these nawals that we are seeing here in these past TRECENAs, maybe the seed won't germinate. Maybe you didn't prepare the land, so it's gonna be entering into barrenness. So when the land like lose completely the fertility, so nothing you plant over there is gonna come out over there, like it's a dead land. So that's why it's important to see like how we are taking care of the land. So how we are taking care like of this space. So it's very important that we take care of the earth, like on how we treat her, like because she's the one responsible for makes us that she's providing us life. She's giving us everything that we need. So it's extremely important that we know how to take care properly to harvest this abundance, but also just to give back to the earth. For example, in the town of Nawala, like it's a crime if you just rip a tree off over there. No, you can you can go to jail over there. So we don't have the right of taking anything from the earth. We need to give everything back. If you take a tree, just to build your house, at least you need to plant at least 3 more trees in order to give back. In order to compensate what you took from the earth. So it's a TRECENA thing that can provide us this awareness of this trade that we need to have, like this care with the planet, with the things that we do with this stuff. And then from Ukub Canil, we're gonna move to Washa Kiptor. Here is where the TRECENA restarts. It's like the second beginning. Like the now 8 is where the nature starts to recognize a pattern. So now 1 can be the spring or maybe a cloud day where you have like the thin rain over there, but it doesn't rain too much, but you know that the rain is going to be coming back stronger. So the nature follows patterns. So the now 8 represents these patterns of nature, it's the return. That's why we can associate the now 8 as a more balanced beginning. That's why you can see the Quiche people, we start everything in the now 8, like Washaki bats instead of Hum bats, because it's a more prepared scenario for things to start. And that's why, you see that, for example, in some lineages, you see like they see the TRECENA by the number 13, because the number 1 doesn't have a lot of strength. It's not something that you can just go there and ask. Some stuff doesn't have a lot of power. It's just like it's a fresh start. It's just like a scent over there. But the now 8, no, it's something more prepared, something more solid, something that you're already seeing, like that you can check, you can follow patterns, you can collect data. Remember, the Maya calendar is not something for you to predict, or just something for you to use, just to make up, some ideas over there. It's just to use data. Like, it's just about analyzing the facts in order for you to get into conclusions. It's not about just to create, some meanings that are over there or floating over there. It's about data, real data, so you can understand the repercussions, or see where things tend to go. And so Washington talks about and Thor also talks another now of the fire. If cat is the fire that is burning low, it's already consuming the energy is already consuming the gas of the wood. Thor is the one that where you ascend the fire. You need to add fuel so the fire can grow up. So if cat is the sacrifices we do for the other, Thor is the sacrifices you do in order to achieve the things you want for yourself, for your life, so you can achieve power. Thor is also the act of ruling itself, can be the ruler. A cabal can be the act of ruling, but Thor can be the ruler itself. Like the king, or it can be also the whenever you have to pay the king, like you have to pay the taxes. So this is now Thor. So it's about like the payments that you choose for your life. Remember, as I said in the beginning, here we are not judging about like the people's choices, whether like they choose like a life where they just want to make money, or just want to follow their ambitions, or they greed, or everything. It doesn't matter, but everything comes to a price. Is the price that you are paying here is Thor. But are you able to feed? Are you able to handle the price? That's what Thor is talking about in here. Sometimes you can dedicate your life only to business, only to material stuff, but so then later you can pay the bills of the hospital. Because now Thor talks about whenever like you're not able to pay properly, you pay with your health. It's the now of sickness as well. It's the now that also connects to the blood, like as we are talking about the jaguar being like this cold animal, like is so Thor is the blood, like it's the smell for the blood to go and hunt. Some places you can associate now Thor with the shark as well. And so now Thor talks more about like in the sense of what is the price, like what is the cost of everything. Remember, if you are following the TRECENA analysis with me since the beginning, since we returned with Washikibat, since the Thor TRECENA. So now, like after we made our commitments, now we can see like the price of those commitments. We can see if we can handle that price. We can handle this task. Like if the reward we are getting, like is still worth it. If we're still enthusiastic about that. So we return this TRECENA with the return of the payment to achieve the stuff that you want to, the payment, in order for you to continue on this road, and so on. But be aware of the price. So now wait, maybe you provide already some data so you can see if that's worth it or not. And then from Washington we move to Belair T9 dog. Now 9 represents the inner river, something that's is hidden from sight. Just like we can associate that with caves, like the wet caves where they have a river from inside, where light can come out from that. It's in the dark. Or whenever we see something with the function in the surface. For example, I'm here like with my phone, but I'm just seeing the screen. But behind the screen, I can see like there are the wires and have all of that, and they are working. So it's what's working over there is the internal stuff. And now T is an owl of the emotions we associate with the dog, to talk more about like emotions like friendship, companionship, uh, um, friendship, companionship. We can talk about this emotional attachment that kind of drives us in life, like that kind of just makes us move whenever we have friends. Like sometimes we do things for them, because there's also that spark of enthusiasm that Yik can provide. But Yik is more already like the explosion of emotions. But C, it's the emotion itself. But emotions can fluctuate a lot. So you can either go from friendship and companionship, but also to greed. You can also go to dirty stuff, because if you don't feel compensated enough, you can enter into emotional confusion. And that's the key point of nawal tzi. It's not only about like the positive, what can be considered positive aspects, but can be also all the realms of emotions. Sometimes you dedicate yourself for a friend, but then later if you see if you're not getting the outcome you desired, you can get corrupt, just like a judge. Like you can bribe the judge. So then now there was supposed to be like the one faithful, and that at the end can show the darkness. That's why T can also represent the chaos or the authority that bites, like the bad authority, when you abuse of power. So 9T talk about the inner emotions, like the internal feelings, like or maybe the inner confusion, or how how you are dealing like with your integrity, or how you are dealing like how you're dealing with your emotion, how you are letting your emotions guiding you as well. Just like as the Jaguar can be cold, can be um, very into greed, very into ambitions. Sometimes like you can start things like in a with something that could be considered good, like a noble, matter, but can end up later being corrupt into something that's completely selfish, you know. So Tsi can represent this fluctuation of emotions, emotional confusion, emotional attachments. So that's why, just like we talk about, whenever, for example, if you feed the dog, he's going to be your loyal one. But if you just try to put your hands on something that kind of triggers the um, what's the name, the security, for example, if you just try to take away the food, the dog can bite the owner, even though, and then it's going to be confused later on, so know what to do, and know how everything started. So you can be triggered by your instincts. And that's a very big stuff, because the Jaguar. So here now 9 we can also talk about the cold water. So here we can also express as the cold emotions as well. So remember, in the beginning of the TRECENA we spoke about the Tuakabal, like it's the act of hiding information. So that can also connect to how the emotions is going to be dealing in here. So you're only going to have like the proof of everything that we say we are after we have the results, you know. But that's what the 9C talks about, these inner emotions. And then from Belaerti, we're gonna move to Laur Bats, 10 monkey or 10 threads. Now 10 is the convergence of the TRECENA. Is the where everything comes together, is a focusing point of the TRECENA. We can also talk about, for example, when the rivers meet into a lake, and the lake also delivers the water for the animal life in the land. So it all gives and receives. We can also associate that with collaboration work. Whenever you join with other people in order to a common good, in order to work with them, so you can share your insights, you can ask for someone else's insights. So it is, it's two-way. And now bat is the now of the work, is the now of the ignition of stuff, is the now of putting reestablishing order. If now Tzi is the chaos, now bat is what put things back into order. Is the threads, is also connecting the dots, also like how you connect the ideas. You see how an idea here connect here, maybe we join them together, you can find a solution. We can also talk about creativity. Is also is the now that talks about arts and spirituality. But the main point in here of creativity is about like the ability to come up with solutions to put things back into order, for you to place all your threads, so for you to create this net, like this networking. So 10 bats, we can also talk about this, the networking, like it's whenever you make a team just to work together for a common good. Or maybe if you are just entangled with the threads of nawal, you can ask someone else directions to see how you can untangle like your work, the stuff you are working. And otherwise, like the now tanker represents whenever you get too entangled, it can end up, just leading to the frustration. Remember, depending on things went to the now 5, remember the nows of the beginning of the TRECENA. So everything is connected between all of these nows. They all communicate to each other towards to the accumulation, how the Jaguar is leading this stuff. And so 10 bahts is a good day, for you to do a mastermind, for you to do like collaborate, like to get together to create stuff, can be artistic stuff, whatever. And then from Laur Bats, we're gonna move to Hulaur E11 Pathfinder. And in here, we complete a 9-month cycle of the mom. The mom is the year, the elder that we are currently in is the 11 Pathfinder. So here we return to the mom. So 11 is the nawal of another divergence, like 10 is the convergence, 11 is going to be another divergence, like don't have like a single direction to go. Similar to the nawal yek, the wind. And so the nawal 11 can expand stuff or dilute. Has the power of the water. And now Pathfinder, and now E is about giving a meaning. If you start a work in our bats, now E, you provide a meaning to that. You provide a purpose. So 11E are the multiple possibilities of that you can create a purpose. Like there is no established purpose or a single purpose that you need to follow in life. You can choose many different purposes and can change anytime. So you can change the direction, you can change like the meaning of you're doing this stuff at any time. So now E talks about these multiple possibilities. But these multiple possibilities sometimes can cause confusion. Sometimes you can have so many ideas about what to do. And among many possibilities, you can end up not knowing where to go, where to advance. So now A is about to advance. So it's a tricky nawal, because it has many possibilities, but it's kind of hard for you to make a decision to know where to go. And that can end up just leading the nawal into the melancholy. So it can be something like that you don't want to move, so you want to keep holding back into the previous stuff. And from Hulaur E, we're gonna move to Kablaur Ah, 12 transformation. Now 12 is the hidden balance of the TRECENA. Every repercussion that we carried, we saw in here in this TRECENA, always gonna have like the compensation effect, like a hidden balance. For example, the dam that we saw, like if the dam breaks, can cause a destruction, but at the same time, you provide a new life, can grow new forests. It's gonna be the compensating factor of the universe. Everything is in balance. Sometimes it's not straight away that you see the balance, but sometimes everything is going to be coming up. So, and it's also the moment of the cash out of the TRECENA, where you can see like the final moment before the accumulation, where you can, like if you're doing like if you're just managing your projects over there, so it's where you can rush before the accumulation. You can put an extra effort in order to compensate stuff. And now Ah is the nawal that is associated to the home. But it's also whenever we talk about in Quiche with now we do more the association of halbal, that means transformation. But not the transformation is something that is already transformed, but something that is incomplete and needs to push you into transformation. If Nawabat provides you the work, like restore the order for you to start working, and now A provides you a meaning, a direction, a purpose, So nawal is the act of you start transforming towards that purpose, for you to follow that. So it's the act of just changing what is incomplete. So the 12R can be the extra changes, like the unexpected changes that you be having to go through. But now usually brings like some uncomfortable sensations of having to get out of your comfort zone, or having to do something you didn't expect to do, that makes you feel a little bit bitter, or just put into a gray mood, so, or even cynical. And so that's one of the aspects of the nawal. So 12R can be the unexpected changes and unexpected transformations. If you're associating by the home, it can be, how you're gonna be taking care of your home, like how you are harmonizing the stuff of your home to keep things into balance over there. If now we should allow me to talk about our home as the planet Earth, we also have like our home in here where we need to feed, we need to take care of, like we need to keep tidy and clean, and harmonic for us to keep stuff in balance as well. So that's Kablaul Ah. And then we're gonna move to the final day of the TRECENA, the 13 Falam, 13 Jaguar. 13 is the now of the accumulation, like the ocean, or like the lakes that has like an horizon, or like these big entities, or what can transcend. So is the biggest, what's pushing things forward since the beginning, is already where you are already destined to get there from day one. So, and the Jaguar, as you already spoke, is about material stuff. It's about the curiosity to explore. It's about gestating to build material stuff. It's this aggressive fertility. It's the savings that you can do. It's also the act of gambling as well. It's also associated with economics. Also about the gestating of ideas as well. Not exactly related to money, but I think it's a better word to use is resources, like is accumulating resources. So in here we see the accumulation of these resources, the accumulation of this gestation process, of this development that the earth can do, that can gives us, that can provide us the abundance that we want, like everything that we need to harvest from the nawal canil. So we see here the accumulation, that everything that is starting that hunyek with the new enthusiasm, the new insufflation of life, that led us to retract, to calculate what gestating in Keba Kabal, so we can open the path with the tasks, with our efforts, with Washib Kat, so we can stop to do the interventions necessary in Kahib Khan, so we can overflow with the support in Hob Kame, so we can ponder like the strength in Wakib Ker, and so we can have like the final harvest in Ukub Kanil, so we can return with the sacrifices to achieve power in Washakib Tor, to gestate the emotions in Belayah, so we can converge work and order with Belayah, with Laur Bats. Then you can expand our horizons, expand the possibilities of Hulaur E, so we can have an extra transformation Kablaur Ah, and then you can finally accumulate the Jaguar. You can accumulate the material, you can accumulate this abundance of Nawal Ishvalam. And in this we finish the analysis of this TRECENA. If you have any questions about the TRECENA, I'll be here to answer you, and also the questions that Awake in the Dream School asked me about the eclipse. But if you have first any questions related to the TRECENA, this specific TRECENA, let me know. You can write that in the comments. I'm just drink a little bit of water. Every time I come to do the analysis, I always think to myself, yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it short. not to over explain stuff. But sometimes I cannot hold myself, I talk too much. I try to do my best effort here to shows you the connection of the TRECENA. Of course, there are so many different possibilities that the TRECENA can bring. I cannot cover everything, like it's impossible. We would have to spend like a week or a month only to talk about this TRECENA. But I hope it made sense. Like I hope you all could understand about this flow of this TRECENA. And but if there is any questions or personal stuff, I'm here with you. You have like this free consultation here with me that can guide you somehow. And so, while you decide if you have a question over there, I will reply here the Awakening Dream School question. She was asking about the lunar eclipses. There is nothing kind of in the sense of like mystical stuff, especially coming from a lineage pre-colonized or shift of energy or stuff like that. That there's nothing related to that. But what we follow, for example, there is this calendar that is called the Cholik. That is the moon calendar, is the woman's calendar. This is the calendar where they follow the phases of the moon, also to manage activities. They can also track the period as well, and also to help following the pregnant woman as well. But about like the lunar eclipses, there is nothing like because every new moon is kind of is an eclipse. It's something for you to give a new start. It's just that like it's how they manage activities. It's a very extensive topic to enter into the Choli calendar to explain like these phases of the moon. But if there is something that is interests you, I can even bring Tata Pabiantel, so you can learn directly from the Ahir as well about that. But if there is something specific about the lunar eclipses or phases of the moon that you have, you can ask me here, then I could try to be more direct to the answer. But this teaching of the eclipses is just about measuring. It's more for agricultural processes, but not too much about that we can do in our daily lives or stuff like that. I don't know if that was the questions what you're curious about, and if it's not, just you can rewrite another question in there. And if you have any other questions related or unrelated to the TRECENA, you can write me here. Let me see if I can refresh stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, I missed some questions here. Cacau Guerreiro, hello, I'm from Brazil, my name is Miguel. Hello, Miguel. Eu sou brasileiro também, mas aqui eu faço só em inglês. Oh, my grandma used to say not to go outside and not to see the moon, not eating, etc. Oh, I want to know if, where I can get the book of the moon for the woman. As far as Awaken the Dream School, as far as I know, there is no currently information available about the Cholik out there in the Western world. This is like there is so many stuff, especially for the uncolonized, places with the calendar. Like they are very is like they only teach whenever you go there to spend some time with them. But I'm about to provide some to write some books to a little bit about that. So I can provide some info about this moon calendar, at least about like the phases of the moon and especially because for the women who are artists, so they instead of just planning stuff by TRECENA by the 13 days, they use the 20 days, uh, and they also uses the phases of the moon to know whenever they need to like to rush into development or to start new ideas, whenever they need to stop, and whenever it's like a spark for you to develop even further. So there is always different ways to do that. And of course, for example, whenever it's a new moon or whenever there is an eclipse, we need to think about the people in the jungle. uh, Whenever it has less light, you kind of gives like a proper environment for the predators. It's better for them. For example, whenever it's full moon, like it's very illuminated, so it's kind of hard for the jaguars, for example, to hunt stuff because they can see what's coming. So it's kind of it's more difficult to get like the animals by surprise, especially like jaguars and other predators that are more nocturnal. So that also has an effect in the environment in this way. So that's why for hunting, like the more light is the worse. So of course, like whenever like it's a new moon has less light, it could be more dangerous for you to go outside and become a victim like of a prey. Could be that kind of association as well, but it's not something like mystical about that. Remembering that in the Maya calendar, we don't say that stellar bodies has like they have an influence on our choices and everything. Like what influences our choices in here are the conditions of pregnancy. Uh, as Dwayne mentioned here, that he's already been in a consultation with me, like what kind of decides like the way like what dictates the way we act, like the way how we behave in the world, how we take decisions, and how we perceive our current reality are the influences of pregnancy. That's what our nawals will talk about as we are a fruit of the day. So even if you have a person with the same nawal that was born the same day as you in the same hospital, in the same like like the almost in the same room, like you tend to be completely different because we need to analyze every person like as a unique being. Like every person has a different story. Every mother gestates and deals with the problems of pregnancy in a different way. So that's why whenever people ask me here to generalize stuff about here, I don't like to do that because every person is a universe on its own. Um, Let me see. What's the best way? What is the best way to be? What is the best way to be during the eclipse? It depends. For example, for agricultural purposes, like I don't know like this answer, like to be honest, but I can go and get this answer. I can bring my Tata Pabiantel here to provide that and to be more specific about like these eclipse questions. But remembering that like there is no like a rule of like that you have to follow during the eclipse. There is nothing predetermined like that. Uh, but that's a good thing, because it's not the first time that you start asking about like this calendar. And as like I don't want to appropriate everything, like I'm still just an apprentice, like I'm just following my lineage. I'm just here just doing that, just keep my lineage alive. And but I can bring here my teacher to open up more about this calendar stuff. It's a beautiful knowledge, like it's something that you can do a lot with that. um, do you have any more questions? Oh, if you can for response then. Well, I'm glad to be insightful. And if you have any further questions, feel free to reach me on Instagram on Facebook, or even dropping a message in here, or even go to my website. Whenever I can help you, shining a light to follow here the calendar, you can count on me. I'm more happy than help. And so if you don't have any more questions, I think we can close here the live. We have already 1 hour and 20. And the only thing that I ask you, if you enjoyed this live, just leave the thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just subscribe, because that helps me with the YouTube. And I hope to see you all in the next TRECENA analysis. As I mentioned in the beginning, for some of you that I've been a little bit absent from the Instagram lately, but very soon I'm gonna be back, being more active, talking more, replying questions, and doing the regular posts that you all were enjoying. I just need to show some stuff in here, some madness, because also, not because I'm here in the student, like I'm falling the back out, I'm not just absent of the some madness that sometimes life can bring. So I need to sort some stuff up, but then later I'm gonna be back stronger than ever. So everyone, thank you so much for staying here with me. I'm wishing you all already a beautiful TRECENA ahead, and if you need, just reach me in here. Okay, you too, have a happy weekend, everyone. See you all in the next TRECENA analysis. Bye bye.